Hopefully you're seeing what I'm seeing here. I don't know. That is my new Canon Vixia. I give the full numbers and digits and whatever that are involved in the name of it, or in the title of this video here. This is the replacement camera for the one that I gave a sudden bath in salt water a couple of weeks ago, which really didn't do it any good. I guess I don't have the memory card in it right now, so if I turn it on, it's going to complain that it doesn't have a memory card in it. But there are very few changes. It's quite similar to the last one that I had. I would have bought the same model that I had before, but not available anymore. It's been discontinued. This, I believe, must be the replacement model, because I know what I bought before was their bottom end, the least expensive one, and that's what this one is. And it is marked down incredibly right now, especially in Canada, not so much in the US. I checked both websites because sometimes it's cheaper to buy these in the US, even with the difference in the currency. But this was about $229, something like that, Canadian money, shipping included, plus tax. You have to add tax onto that. And the one on the American side, converted to Canadian money, was $356. So, but this is marked down. It says over $100, $120, $30. So I suspect that probably means that this is about to be discontinued as well, which doesn't bother me. I don't use it that much, but I like to have them because they do have good close-up and zoom quality. One of the changes that they've made, the older model had a button here that you pressed. That was the off-on button. No longer exists. There is a button here. If you have this screen thing opened up, you press that and it will turn it on. I'll show you what else happens. I'll shut it back off. If it's closed like this, and as soon as you open it, it turns itself on. I'm not so sure that I like that feature, and I've tried to find a way of getting around it without just complaining it doesn't have a memory card, without any success. I haven't found any way around that. I mean, I suppose it's handy if you're outside shooting. You snap that open and immediately it's on if there's something that might be just a fleeting moment and it'll be gone type thing. But I find it annoying if you're back in the house and the memory card is in here, and I'm going to open it up just to remove the memory card to put it in the computer or whatever. It turns on. I guess it doesn't make that much difference, but I just find that annoying. I don't want it to turn on unless I tell it to turn on. Anyway, what follows is a series of clips that I've taken over a couple of different days with it, trying to test out various things, the zoom, the close-up, and using my remote Canon microphone, all that sort of thing. Terrific amounts of wind, though, even with the microphone, which has a bit of a windsock on it, not an excellent one, but it did muffle the wind somewhat. But both days that I was out recording, there was a lot of wind. However, I've also got some good bird footage, my birds, my chickens and whatever, but out in the pond, in the pit, the quarry, stone quarry that I went out to take part of it, there were 2 Bufflehead Ducks in the pond at the quarry, and for 2 days in a row I took some footage one day, and the sound was so bad that I removed the sound, but I added the clips back there with a voiceover type thing in slow motion so you could see the buffleheads. And when I went back out today, they were still there. I came back home and I have been frightening a partridge, we call a partridge a Ruffed Gross, on my property now for a couple of weeks, which isn't uncommon. I see them here frequently. But anyway, today it was in an apple tree and there were 2 of them. So I got some close-up footage of the Ruffed Gross here that you can have a look at too. So have a look and see what you think of the camera. I'm quite satisfied with it because, as I say, it's very similar to the one that I had before. So what follows are all those clips that I did in the last couple of days. Well, as I said, I'm out for a bit of a walk around to try out the new Canon camcorder. If you've seen my previous video taken of the quail inside their coop, which has been winterized. I didn't show the outside. That is what it looks like on the outside. I completely covered all of the area that had hardware cloth on it with not transparent but translucent plastic. Keep out the wind. The girls are expecting to get out over there, but they're going to be disappointed. I'm going to let out the roosters. They're in the small coop here. There are 4 roosters. They may or may not come out. They're not as anxious to get out as the hens are. Hi guys. Their coop got cleaned out the other day too. And they won't come out with me standing here, I'm sure, but they may come out and walk around. At least 3 of them. There's one, I'm not sure if he ever comes out. And they've seemed to all have changed. If they come out, they don't stay very long. They're ready to go back in within an hour. So I let them out first, and when they're ready to go home, I close them in and let the other coop out to range around, and that way the roosters in the 2 coops don't get in a fight. That's Martha up on the gate. She is really insulted that I haven't come over and let her out. There's a crossbar on the gate there, and she flies up there every time I come out to let them out and talks to me while I'm unlocking it. This is the Japanese maple called Bloodgood. A lot of the trees, or most of the trees, have lost their foliage. This is one of the last ones to lose its foliage every year. Beautiful color in the fall. It's a deeper, more mahogany red in summer, but in the late fall like this, it turns this brilliant red color. Beautiful tree. And it is the one that I took cuttings from and rooted one in the hoop house. I have been meaning to mention on several of my videos, and I never think of it until it's too late. I managed to kill that. It died anyway. It had roots and was growing quite well, but it got too hot in the hoop house for it. I should have dug it up and either transplanted it out into the garden or put it in a pot and put it out in the garden. Anyway, I will try that again next year because it is possible to root them and multiply them that way from cuttings. And I wouldn't mind having a few more of these around the property. They're really quite beautiful. Not sure how well these will show up. I'm out in the gravel pit, stone quarry combination thing. It's out beyond my property. And these are deer tracks. In some of the soft mud here. I don't know how recently they were made, but I guess it's been a week or more since we had a heavy rainstorm, so they've been made sometime in that past week. But we're in the middle of deer hunting season here now. This is November 5th that I'm making this video, and deer season goes to the 21st, I think. So I'll show you in a second here what I'm wearing. How's that for a fashion statement? Can't get used to where to put the camera, I guess, holding it in my hand like this. But I'm wearing Dayglow orange, what they call hunter's orange. I'm not a hunter, but I don't wish to be hunted. So with white head of hair and white beard, it's a good idea to cover it up with something orange. The deer population here is called the white-tailed deer, and that's usually what the hunter sees, is the white tail flashing as it goes through the trees. So with me, it won't be white, it'll be orange, I guess. I'll take you up now and show you the view from the top of the quarry. But I'm back now a couple of days later from the previous clips. There was so much wind noise, and I didn't care for the camera shots that I was taking because I didn't have the tripod with me, so I'm back with the tripod. The next 2 clips that follow are ones that I took a couple of days ago off a pair of Bufflehead Ducks that were in the quarry pond behind me. Not very good, as I said, very bouncy, handheld. One is at regular speed, and the second one I slowed it down to slow motion so you get a look at them. They were still here when I came back a little while ago, and I'm not certain if I got another clip that's worth showing you or not, but I did have the tripod set up this time. They seem to be stopping over here on their migration, enjoying this freshwater pond. There's a lot of salt water around here, but migrating ducks like some fresh water, although I can't imagine there's a great deal in there to eat. Anyway, the rest of these clips that follow after the little slow motion of the buffleheads, all taken using a tripod, and I'm using the remote Canon microphone that works with Bluetooth technology, broadcast from this thing back to a receiver that's attached to the camera. So hopefully you're getting a little better sound. Well, these guys really surprised me. I didn't expect to see them there. The next little clip that follows this one is the repeat of this same clip, but in slow motion with a little bit of an explanation. Well, these guys were a bit of a surprise. As near as I can tell, it's a pair of buffleheads, either females or males in what they call eclipse plumage, non-breeding plumage. Well, this windy clip is taking a couple of days later, and the pair of buffleheads are still here. Try out the zoom capability here. When I refer to this as a quarry, a stone quarry, you might have the vision of it cutting slabs of stone to be used for building blocks or whatever, but that isn't the case. All of the quarry stone here has been crushed, and what you're looking at there is several piles of various grades of stone. I'm standing on the very edge of the pond here that was created when they made the last attempt at crushing stone here a couple of years ago. I'm not so sure that this is rainwater or if there's a spring at the bottom of it. I'm never quite certain. I don't know what to think of it. But the owner of the quarry told me that his son has gone diving in it and that he estimates that in the center it's about 20 feet deep. So I'm thinking there must be a spring or something that feeds it. I assume that what he meant is he was diving with scuba gear, but I don't know that for sure. But it definitely is very deep. Nice clear water. If I'm not careful, I could get me and another camera very wet here. I don't know if you can see. I'll try to point it out. This crack in the rock here, that whole piece of stone out there is starting to break off, I think. I think I'm standing back far enough on solid rock, but that piece sort of overhangs the water. And I'm quite sure that well, probably this winter that will fill full of snow and ice and then expand as it freezes and cause that to all drop off down into the water. But I don't want to go with it, so I'm not going to stand out on top of it. Tried to find a place that's out of the wind a bit to give you a better idea of the mountains of crushed stone that are out here, so I'll just do a 360 here. I'm sort of standing between two of the larger mounds of the stuff. It's used mostly in road construction to make asphalt or to do what we call chip sealing, a kind of pavement that's done on the road where I live anyway. This is a pond in the same pit, in the sort of no longer used gravel pit area. If you've seen my video, I think it's just called Pond Life. It's back there a few years somewhere. Very popular. It's been chosen by a number of school teachers or around the world, I guess. Every once in a while I get another message from a school teacher who says she's going, or he says they're going to use it in their class science project. I don't speak at all during the whole video. It's just a whole series of clips that I took out here in the summertime of frogs and tadpoles and lily pads and all that good stuff. Anyway, this particular pond will soon freeze, and it's very popular in the wintertime. The young people come out here just to skate or to play hockey or whatever. It's quite, well, as sheltered as it gets on Campobello. As you can see, there's still a lot of wind here today, but it is sheltered from the worst of our winter winds. Well, I wanted to try out the close-up capabilities. I've always was impressed with the other model, which is very similar, as I've already said, to this camera. That is barberry. I'm not sure which variety. I have 3 different kinds of barberry. I love the things. So pretty this time of year. Birds don't seem to eat the berries, though, or at least most of them are still there come spring. But I'm standing 5 or 6 feet, not that far away. I'll pan back, give you a look at the whole scene here. And I think that's fairly good for close-up. I'm satisfied with that anyway. Not the best of shots, I suppose. And it's not a partridge in a pear tree, it's a partridge in an apple tree. Actually, there are 2. I'm taking this out my bedroom window through the glass at my old pumpkin sweet apple tree. I've been scaring up a partridge, or what we call a partridge, a Ruffed Gross. Several times in the last week to 10 days it's been on my property, and I couldn't figure out what he was eating, because I always see it on the ground. But there's now a pair of them in this apple tree, and this guy's pecking away, I guess, at an apple down between his feet. You can't see the apple. But they're not a terribly uncommon bird. I see them on my property. I've even seen them here with their young in the summertime. Just like a little hen, all of a sudden they'll come out of the woods with 10 or 12 little chickens behind them. This is bird season, so if he stays on my property, he's safe. Seems to be picking at a leaf more than an apple, though. I don't know what he's doing. As I say, there are 2. This is the only one that I can get a clear shot of right now. I can see the other one. It's down below and to the left, but I can barely see movement. It's in the tree further. So I suppose this must be a mated pair. When I've been scaring them up, all I've seen is one at a time. This is the first time I've seen the pair, but they're usually quite common here in the wintertime on the mountain ash trees, which have lots of berries. But this year, for some reason, at least on my property, the mountain ash don't have a lot of berries, which is a concern for these birds because they winter here. They never leave. They're here year right round. It's definitely eating the leaves, or an insect or something that's on the leaves. I thought it was eating the apples. Anyway, there's my partridge in an apple tree. When you're out walking in the woods and you frighten one of these and it takes off, my heart's in my mouth when it happens. They make so much noise with their wings. Actually, in the mating season in the spring, the male does what's called drumming. And you can hear that a half-mile away, and it's just him beating on his chest with his wings. I guess the girls really like that. Well, he's moving further off into the tree and becoming less and less visible, so I guess that will do for my partridge in an apple tree. Well, this windy day, I thought I would let the hens out, close this little video off with the hens in the big hen house getting out for a little bit of exercise. You can't see, but Martha is right where Martha always is. She's up on that bar waiting for me to open the door for her. Hi guys, how's everybody? Won't be long now and There'll be so much snow, the poor things won't be able to get out. Oh dear, the wind. I'm sure you're hearing nothing but wind noise. They're comfortable all winter in their coop, but coop is the word for it. I feel so sorry for them. They're all cooped up for the entire winter, but oh well, another month or so yet, they can still get out. There's less and less green things every time they come out, but they love to get out and scratch around anyway. Well, that will close this little video off, I guess, demonstrating my new camera. I promise not to soak this one in salt water. Thank you very much for watching.